Well, Steve, thanks so much for being here. Since you and I actually made contact, I've been really looking forward to this interview because I think that you have a ton of information that you can share with everybody that comes to this site and all of our subscribers. It's really going to help them. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you having me on.
No problem. Steve, the first question is failure. Now, we all know the word failure, and it's kind of that ending word, the end of the road, the nowhere to go. Do you believe in failure?
It's a good question, and it's interesting because there's a lot of folks out there who throw around fancy terms and their thoughts about what failure really means and if it exists and this, that, and the other. I mean, it's one of those things that I've actually spent a pretty good deal of time thinking about. And as a lifelong entrepreneur who has been on both ends of success and what others might call failure, I've really come to the conclusion that failure in itself doesn't exist. I mean, it is just one of those terms of ignorance that weak-minded people like to throw out at those who dare to soar in an attempt to bring them down. And so, when you take a look at the word failure, and even if you just write it down on a piece of paper and you put that word in front of you, I mean, really, it's just black ink on a white piece of paper. It has no inherent meaning, only what you assign to it. And so, from my perspective, I view failure as success with an unintended ending. I mean, that's how I look at it.
That's an amazing way to look at it.
Yeah, because really, I mean, if you have the cojones to try to put something together for the world to judge, I mean, you're by no means a failure, quite the opposite. I mean, most folks don't have the cojones, again, to do that. I mean, it takes nothing to be a critic, and it takes everything to be a creator. And so those that choose to create, in my way of thinking, you with this show, me as a guest, whoever it is, someone who is willing to put themselves out there and say something for the world to judge, or create a product or create a service or create a company or create a nonprofit, whoever it might be, even if things don't go exactly to plan, there is no failure involved with that whatsoever. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite. And that is really why I've taken on the mantra throughout my life that when you look back on your life, I mean, you will most regret failing to act than taking action and realizing what those other people might term as failure. Because you just, you can live in a very enclosed circle of your potential self, or you can try to break through that, and that's going to take risk. And to risk, sometimes you're going to fail. It's just the nature of the beast. But in and of itself, I mean, really, the word has no inherent meaning.
Okay. Do you think that with every we'll call it the F word from now on. That way we don't really keep ingraining it in our minds. Every time you hit the F word, is there an underlining success that we should be looking at?
Well, again, as I said, I mean, I do think that failure is success with an unintended ending. I mean, every plan that you have doesn't always go as designed. And so, yeah, I mean, Dr. Wayne Dyer has a quote that I really like, and he said that everything that happens to us in life, no matter how painful, eventually leads us to a place of higher value. And I do believe that the only way that you can really achieve any degree of success is to have those trials, have those tribulations, and understand not only what to do, but there's also a lot of importance that goes with achieving your desired results by understanding what not to do. So I think both go hand in hand.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, that's very interesting, and I really like the way you rationalize it with the underlining success. I mean, I think that's one of probably the most positive spins I've heard put on that word ever. That's great. Now, did you think of that on your own?
If you ask my wife, I don't think of anything on my own. But no, that's actually a quote that I use in my new book, which is actually called Internet Profits.
Okay.
Not live, because that was the event we did, but Internet Profits, the world's leading experts reveal how to profit online. But I do talk to failure in that book, and I do have that quote: "Success, failure. I choose to view failure as success with an unintended ending." So, yeah, that's all mine.